All right, guys. Obviously, hard fought Big Ten win. Proud of our guys. I think Minnesota's really good and physical, and the front line's terrific. We knew Garcia and Payne were a challenge, and they've got good shooting. So they're a good team. Ben puts them in great spots. So I think it's a good win for our guys. Yeah, good win for our guys. Good way to start 1-0. Survived their run here a little bit. Proud of our guys for making plays. We obviously got to do some things better. Got to finish the half better, and got to do some things in the second half better.
Ben immediately talked about your start to the game and how he said you guys punched them in the mouth first, and then you had several plays late, like you said, kind of survived the run that they had.
Yeah.
What did you get from your guys in the moments at the beginning and the end where you took the lead and then you held on to the lead?
Yeah, I thought I just thought we played really well, Adam, in those stretches. I thought we had good attention to detail, and I thought we obviously made shots, but I thought our pace was good. I didn't love our pace as much in the second half. But we were really relying on our defense there in the first half, and then, man, in the second half, they made some plays. Some of that was them making high-level plays, and some of it was we have to do some things better. But what I saw was a really good start, maybe as good as we started all year, and then real poise down the stretch, making plays.
What was the challenge trying to contain Dawson as he started getting going in the second half?
Well, I think the challenge was they had shooting on the floor for that stretch, large parts of that stretch. And there's a couple different ways you could do it. You can certainly trap from the low side. You can trap big to big. You can dig hard. You can dig off non-shooters. You can X out. You can come off the passer. There's a million different ways to do it. We've looked at a couple different ways to trap him. For us, we felt like let's see if he can attack us here, and he started to do that in the second half. He didn't as much in the first half, and then we had to make some adjustments as he got going in the second half. But Payne's a really good low post player too. His motor and his physicality's good. But I think Garcia's, obviously he's a 5-star recruit from, I remember maybe 5 years ago. So he's an older kid who's played a lot of college basketball. His versatility inside, out. He didn't shoot it well from 3 to 9. I think he was 0-3, but he was 34% last year and over 80 attempts. So he's capable, and we saw that when we played him here last year.
You referenced those final 2 minutes of the first half. What changed for your team then? If they just kind of...
I got to look at it. It might have been the lineup that I had in. I was trying to get Bruce to the bench to halftime just with one foul. I probably should have put him in there because we had a little bit of inexperience in some other spots. That's probably on me. And then I thought we missed a good drive and finish. Devin had a really good drive. We just missed it, and that ended up being a 4-point play because they scored at the other end.
Coach, there's 3-pointers and then there's 3-pointers, and when you hit those 3 within 60 seconds at the end, and to have that many guys who can give you that 3-point shot it's hard to explain how important that is.
Well, it was really big. It staved off their run. We obviously had a 5-point possession coming out of a timeout, which I didn't love. We overhelped late in the clock. You don't want to overhelp that late in the clock. I told Roddy that you got to stay attached late in the clock, and we overhelped, gave up the 3. Then we called a foul on the rebounds. It was a 5-point play. So we had guys. I think guys are playing with high-level confidence. We also shared it. One of those might have come off of an offensive rebound or two, which I think were critical, where we got some extra possessions. So it was good. It was good to see. But our offense wasn't our issue. We got to be better at taking away some of their strengths.
Chris, one thing that the guys keep mentioning is not being satisfied, Jamison in particular. Is that something they're coming up with? Is that something you're stressing day to day? Where does that come from, that message?
Well, I mentioned last time we were here, as a coach, you're always, your intent is always up for complacency, entitlement, and selfishness, because those are corrosive to teams in any organization. So, any one of those 3 things right now, if you see that, you really want to address it right away. And I think when it's player-led, it's obviously much better. So if they're saying that, that's a good thing.
And I know you expect it from a player like Jamison, who's been around for a long time, but for him to deliver on a night like tonight, what does that mean for this team?
Well, Jamison, I've said this on a number of times. Jamison, he has great respect for their players and their coaches. He's told me that a number of times. But when you're a player, you know, one of the greatest lessons to learn is when you lose yourself in your team playing well when you're out there, you typically play pretty well. And it's a challenge for young players, it's a challenge for old players because they want to play well. But when their focus is just on the team playing well, you kind of lose yourself in the bigger picture. You take the focus off yourself. And guys typically play better when they do that. It's a hard thing to get yourself to do, particularly when you're playing in a game like this one where you want to play well. And, you know, if that's your focus, and I thought that was his focus, and a result of that was he really did play well.
Coach, Felix was kind of banging down in the low post a lot of the game tonight, and he came away with 5 blocks. How do you feel like his impact defensively helped you out? And how do you feel that his defensive effort fuels you in sort of bringing the defense to offense?
His length is critical for us. It's critical for us. And he's getting better at guarding guys out on the floor, like Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
He's still got to get better at that, but his length is, we saw last year the difference in when he's on the floor and not on the floor. It's really critical for us.
And then how do you feel the matchup against Garcia was a good test for you guys heading into the majority of Big Ten play?
I mean, he's really good. He's a really good player. So we see a lot more of those. You're going to see a lot less hair, that's for sure. He's a really good player, and I think he's as good of a player on the front line in terms of his versatility as there is in the league. But there's obviously going to be other really good players. But we got to get better at that for sure. We need to get better at guarding a guy like that.
Seems like tonight, you know, your guys are in a place where either Bruce, Roddy, or Jamison can drop 20 points on a given night. I guess, do you see those three as the three, you know, go-to scorers moving forward? And what confidence does it give you to know, you know, you have 3 guys that can put up a big performance at a given time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll get defined as the year goes on and solidified. But I think Zed on a night can get you know, double figures. I thought Scotty gave us great minutes tonight. Great minutes, made shots and played his role at a good level. But yeah, I think those guys, their versatility. I think Dale can get us double figures on a given night. But yeah, that'll get defined. You know, I'm not here saying, hey, it's definitely going to be those 3 guys every night. But obviously, Bruce and Roddy, to your point, and Jamison, all 3 of those guys have early in the season kind of proven that they're pretty consistent at that.
I know you don't want to have those lulls, but is there a part of you as a coach who's kind of glad that your team had to battle back in the second half and show that poise just for a young team, you know, just as a kind of a teaching point to...
There's part of a coach that's glad now.
Yeah.
I was not glad in the moment. But now I think there is real, to your point, I think this is what you're asking, there is real teaching opportunities here. If we can recognize this, have a better understanding of how we correct these things, it can absolutely provide real benefit.
Second straight game, that hasn't given you a whole lot, and not to single him out in one game where you beat a Big Ten team by 10. What is he maybe battling through right now? What have you seen from him this recent stretch?
Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, he'll be fine. I think I'm not concerned about him in the least, but I understand your question. I think he'll be fine. You know, I thought Felix's length, we needed it tonight. And we played them together some, Adam, as you guys know. You're probably going to ask that. I think we got to practice that more. As I mentioned, we got to play it more. We got to practice it more. The numbers, the analytics to it has not been a great lineup for us on either end. So, but we got to keep looking at it.
So why do it?
Yeah, because I think we're going to need to do it in certain games, and in particular in certain Big Ten games. I'm not ready through 8 games, valid question, to scrap a lineup that I think might have some potential in limited situations.
And just one more thing about Jamison, but when he hits his first shot the way that he does, there, like you said, all the kind of motion that kind of went into this game, him losing himself in the team, but when he hits a shot like that, what are your feelings as a coach? Like, all right, Jamison's got it tonight. I mean, how do you feel when he gets started in that way?
He just had a good look about him. You know, I was you're always as a coach a little bit, I didn't sit down and say, hey, Jamison, you know, I didn't want to make more of it what it was. You know, I even told Gary to cancel his media session with you guys, but Gary doesn't listen to me anyway. So, I think I just was, he had a good look in his eye. I was pleased that he got off and he, early there and was able to make some shots. And yeah, I was pleased with that.
They had 11 offensive rebounds. You had 11 offensive rebounds. You know, after the A&M game, you said if it wasn't the most important thing, it was one of the most important things. I did see a gang rebound where you were out on the court pumping your fist because your whole team got one. Where are your guys right now with defensive rebounding compared to where you want them to be?
We need to get better. It's interesting, through both, they were number one in offensive rebounding efficiency, or offensive rebounding percentage in the league. I think they were getting about 44% back. We were second through, you know, you're playing different competition, right? So they're a better offensive rebounding team than they've been in previous years. They go and they've got good length. So we knew that was going to be a focus, but we definitely have to get better. Any other ones? Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you.